major issue at the moment is that they lack control of knowing
where the money is going and coming from. That's exactly my fear. Contactless payment, no cash being accepted. So all of this shit is already being forced into the society.
Welcome back, everyone, to another Words of Rizdom podcast. The beautiful thing with the Words of Rizdom is when I do have my good partner Riz on, it's like it's both of ours. You know, I love it.
Riz squared.
That's it. That's what people keep saying. Yeah, I love it. I love it, man. Well, by now, obviously, we've just released this week, actually, part 2. This will be part 3, I guess. And this one will come out in a good few weeks' time. But yeah, it's always great to have you, brother.
Likewise, man. It's a pleasure speaking to you always. I enjoy being here. It's nice. And yeah, I just feel like the time goes so quickly when we're talking.
It really does. Yeah. It really does. And that's when you know you're having a good conversation, having a very good conversation. I will say, like, you know, I do thank you a lot because I know you're not like massively active on the socials in that sense, in terms of like, especially not videos, you know, like you're making any videos or anything like that.
Content creation.
Yeah, but you are smashing it out on Twitter though. You know, massive amounts of value on Twitter. And you put me on the Twitter, man. Since obviously our first call, I jumped on the Twitter. I think I've got like 600-700 followers, and you know, made some good connections.
Exactly.
Just by talking.
Yeah.
You know, and I love it. So no, thank you for that as well.
No, honestly, like how I see it is, especially with Twitter, like that's where I feel like I can give my value. That's where I'm, you know, things are going in my mind, and that's just like completely raw, completely like, you know, whatever I'm feeling in the moment or thinking about the market. And whereas my Instagram is more, I would say, day-to-day life kind of thing. Or you
don't really use Instagram that much, do you?
Not trading wise. I don't really post a lot of like trading stuff on Instagram. I don't know. I just feel like the audience there is a bit like, I don't want to come across like, you know, one of them. You know, like
because it's like picture based and video based. It's more. It can feel more like lifestyle. You know, kind of promotion and stuff like that, which is the thing is, what I find is that if you are living that lifestyle, that's fine, you know. But it's literally become like a marketing space, really. Instagram over the years, it's just gone purely. It's not just trading wise, just generally. Like, it's just services, products, and that's really it.
Influencers and everything. But yeah, I mean, I do see that aspect as well. Instagram and everything. Like, I do enjoy using it, and like, especially even when you know, when you are traveling and seeing people, and
same
just being, you know, you're able to keep up with their lives and what they're up to, like your close friends and family. Whereas
plus you get to learn about places. So like when you went away recently, I was like, wow, I'll take note of this place. You know, where did he stay? You know, these are the restaurants. You know, and you get to do that with other people as well. So it really is good.
So in that aspect, it's good. But yeah, trading wise, I don't really post a lot of stuff, because I just feel like the audience there, they're not going to take as much value from that kind of stuff. Whereas on Twitter, I know the audience there I have,
they're listening and reading the words,
and they are all active in the space as well.
Yeah.
They're all involved, so they understand what I'm talking about. Whereas on Instagram, if I post like, you know, something about my trades or a trade breakdown, for example, like 95% of the people, they either think, okay, look, I'm trying to sell something, or or like it will go over their heads. So
yeah, it's true. Yeah. Well, it works. And you know, one thing I will say though, I was just literally thinking right now that if you wanted to, in terms of be an influencer or purposely try and grow an audience, you could do it like that.
You think?
Yeah, bro. Because you know, you're so clean with your content. Like, you know, without, I don't know if you try. I don't think you put much effort into it. I think you're just good at it. You might have an eye for it, unless you have actually, learned or anything.
No, completely. I just like, just go for it. Like,
so good with it, bro, honestly. You're so clean. Really, you know, your pictures on Instagram, clean, you know. And then even just on Twitter, like the chart work, clean chart work. You know, like when I post a chart, I always think it looks like an absolute mess, and I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah,
I've seen your charts. They're clean.
Oh, yours are clean, bro. Yours are like, honestly, when I look at it, I think this is so, like, I was gonna ask you. I remember after this, I probably asked you like, how do you make it so clean? Maybe it's just a viewpoint. You know, like when you hear your own voice or you see your own stuff, you don't put it up there. You know, but yeah, man, it's so clean.
Like for me, for example, I don't really think, like, for me, it's just like what it is. It's not like, but for me, it's, I'll be honest with you, for me, like from early on, I've just been somebody, I would say,
Are you a little OCD?
OCD, yeah, I'm a little bit OCD.
In a good way, though. Yeah.
And not over the top, but the way
you're organized.
Organized, and the way I like how I would post something where, for example, a chart where the intention behind it is that somebody is gonna view it and be able to take something away from it.
Yeah.
So I don't want to post something where there's complete, mess on it and it can't be interpreted.
Yeah.
Whereas I try to, if I make it as clean as possible, that's just like my art. And even for me, how I see the charts, it's like painting a picture. And that's how I go on about when I'm charting an analysis. It's, I start off normally clean, like fresh page.
Yeah. And how often do you do that?
I would say used to do before a little bit more. Now it's maybe after every few weeks, and because sometimes it does get messy with, if you're taking trades every week, for example, and you have your markouts and everything, and then like what I do is though I take screenshots, save, and I have a folder with all of my last 2 years of all of my markups, and so I do take account of it, and then I will clean it off, and then I'll restart, go on the higher time frame, and then just complete. Because sometimes as the data is coming out, as it's developing, things change. So when you feel too
attached to something,
I feel like if I'm too, because I trade normally under the 15-minute chart.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
And so if I'm on the 15-minute chart the whole time, for example, I might but I might overlook, okay, what's happening in the 4 hour. By that time, the 4 hour candles have developed further. So after every few weeks, I would clean off the charts and then restart, remap out my areas, and
Because if they're valid still, then they'll still be there, and you'll see it.
Exactly.
So I agree. I actually do it pretty much every day in terms of lower time frame, because with the daily ranges, etc. They don't really change.
Yeah.
Maybe for a week, 2 weeks,
exactly.
3 weeks. So that's fine. I'll leave that there. But I normally just delete everything off, because now I only scalp Frankfurt, and London. So literally every day I can just get rid of it. Next day, get rid of it. So that's why I can do that. But I think keeping the charts clean, because I've seen a lot of people where they leave all their analysis on, always just leave it there, and they have the craziest colors. I used to be one of those people. I used to have a grey background with purple candles, orange. That's making your OCD going up.
Boy, I can't even imagine.
I used to have orange order blocks and bright yellow key level lines, and then it was actually Marco who told me change your colors, man. I was like, what are you about? Yeah, change them, man.
Keep it clean.
Yeah, and he gave me we went on Zoom, and he gave me he basically just helped me create and I didn't know there was a word for it, but it's soft tones, right? Soft tones, easier on the eyes, and keeps it clean, keeps it the clarity there. Because I see people's charts crazy, bro, crazy colors, crazy. I don't know how they see it. Obviously, I used to have crazy colors. To me, I would see it, but the clarity you can have by having those softer tones, I think it's quite powerful. It's quite just a little minor hack. You know what I mean?
100%.
It's such a minor thing.
It's the small things and that have a impact.
Yeah.
Again, same thing. Going back to keeping things clean is how I see it as well. Is keeps your mind clean as well.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you're looking at a messy chart, you're gonna trade messy as well. That's how it is. Even when I'm at my workspace, my everything.
That's what I was gonna ask you. What's your workspace like?
Organized, clean, minimal. I can't have too much, otherwise distractions.
Yeah.
So I like to keep everything in an open.
Do you have a desktop, or do you have a screen that connects to your laptop?
No. I have an ultra wide screen, and I have a Mac Mini connected to that.
Okay, nice.
And then I do have my laptop on the side.
Yeah.
And that I would use for other stuff, like research or other stuff.
So do you do split screen on the big screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
And something actually I mentioned on Twitter just I think this week as well, that a lot of people resonated with as well is.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was and this is something that I didn't do in the beginning, and I had lot of loss.
Experience.
Yeah. So it's just experience. Yeah. So what I normally do is I execute on the smaller time frame, but I will always have the higher time frame right next to split.
Yeah.
So for example, if I'm watching EU on the 1 minute, I will have the 15 or 1 hour on the side exactly, and seeing that higher time frame candles being formed or where I am at. Because sometimes you can get lost on the 1 minute.
Yeah.
And
it's very easy
having that in front of you, not just flicking through it, but actually having it right next to each other, that will save tons of losses if you are trading on the lower time frame.
Yeah. Because it will save you, like, you'll be able to, like you said, keep track of the closes and how they're forming, the momentum, maybe what's been mitigated or what's been rejected or what's been left still, you know? So I completely agree.
And sometimes you might have overseen something, because when you're flickering charts, sometimes you have maybe overseen something. Whereas where it's open right in front of you and we're watching now the 1 minute formation, equally now on the 15 as well. And that kind of builds the
extra
picture.
Clarity. You know?
Builds
100%.
Builds the picture. That's how I see it.
No, I agree. And it did went off. I saw it. That's the thing with Twitter. Like, I feel like the beauty with Twitter is if people find it valuable, because I had a tweet that went, you know, pretty viral. It went had 40K interactions, right? And I only had, at the time, like 600 or 700 followers, right?
Yeah.
And all I said something along the lines of, you know, it's crazy. It feels like a hack how calm your trading is, you know, when you just stick to something simple and something that tells a story. Essentially, I think there's more words to it, but that was essentially all I said, and it went off, right? And that's what I like about Twitter is, like, if people find value in something you've said, it can then go, and the people will then continue to spread your message. And I feel like that was one of those things, because again, it adds value and it's something that you learn from experience.
And that's for me, like, I want to share my lessons, my, like, things that I went through and that cost me. But if I can save someone else, and, like, if I can share,
shorten that.
if I can share, like, what I have learned, and so that's, like, why I enjoy Twitter as well. Like, just sharing my thoughts, sharing ideas, and also connecting with people equally. So, like, you know, for me, or, you know, like for example, if you're going through, like, a down phase or something, or, you know, just understanding where the market is going. Like, this week, the PA might not be great. And, you know, other traders are finding similar. So,
Exactly, that. And then plus, if someone's you know, expert in indices or an expert in, like, I think you know a guy who's really good at cryptos, right?
Yeah.
So, like, you're then meeting these people who, if you want to excel or increase your knowledge, right, and experience, 100%. And same thing, like, you can tap into their experience then to help you shorten your journey in that side as well. So, you know, it's a very beautiful thing, I think. One thing I did say, though, and reflect on is that, you know, there is no perfect platform. That's what I realized, because, you know, while on Instagram we got all the lifestyle and the marketing, on Twitter you get all that, you know, you get all the interaction and you can meet all these people, but you get people who are chronic liars, man.
You get trolls as well. That's the thing, like, liars, trolls, and also haters. Like, people with absolute, you know, no substance or no, like, they have nothing to their names or nothing, okay, and then, like, they're trying to play you down.
Like,
if you call out a trader or something and got it wrong, and you know, they're watching now your every single move, like,
and it's always ghost accounts. Ghost accounts, and people, even if they're not ghosts, they're people. And this, I was literally just talking to Tans about this. Is like, they're people who know that don't give anything. They're not trying to give any value themselves.
Like, they would have no tweets, no nothing.
And then only stuff like that.
And only what they're doing is they're watching the big account and see, okay, like, where can we pin them down? Like, no one is perfect. You know, I don't claim to be the most perfect trader or whatever. Like, you know,
there isn't one.
No one is. Like, this is real trading. Like, if you realize this,
wins, losses, hardships, down periods, and no trade periods,
and also, like, how I see it is, like, you cannot predict the market. Nobody can. Like, as much as anybody can convince you or whatever, no one truly knows what will happen the next moment.
Exactly.
But our job is not, you know, predicting the market. It is reacting to the market.
Yeah.
And
having an edge.
Yeah. So basically, like, as the data develops, as it's being presented to you, it's your job to interpret the data and understand, okay, where is the price moving towards?
Yeah.
Or this has happened, now this is the next step.
Exactly.
It's not, okay, I want to see the market now, you know, by tomorrow going there or going there, like, calling different levels. That's not trading. That's no one can do that. There's no...
It's having a step-by-step approach, isn't it?
It's just like, you know, seeing what is being presented to you and then reacting to that and just following that path, basically. That's it.
I think there's a story, actually, in... I think it's Trading in the Zone. I'm pretty sure it might be disciplined trader, one of the two, basically. Okay. And he tells this story of a guy on a stock trading floor, and he's using technical analysis, key levels sort of thing, the way it's explained. And this, big investor, I don't know if he owns the fund, the floor or anything like that, but basically a big investor calls the guy up like, come show me, your analysis or whatever. Yeah, show me what you're doing. And he was basically very confident saying like, look, so I'll just use an example, random example, but like wheat is at this key level.
Okay.
It's gonna rebound, has to rebound from this key level, go up. It's impossible pretty much to go down below that. And the big investor's like, huh? It's impossible. You think that? Okay. Makes a trade, dumps it by him because he had enough capital to dump it.
Yeah.
And he was like, look, doesn't matter about your key level. Don't mean about
all
it takes. All it takes is an order.
Yeah,
change everything.
Exactly. So all it takes is like something like a news event to happen or COVID. Like for example, okay, look, COVID. Okay, what happened there? We were in the market. Market was a certain level. All of a sudden, lockdowns happening. This is happening.
Yeah.
And the market just came crashing. Like no one can predict. Something like this to happen. For example, especially now we're in such an uncertain time. War, Russia, gas, inflation, all banks, interest rates and everything. Exactly. So we're in an uncertain time where you cannot predict where the market is going. Nobody can.
Yeah.
But what we can do is interpret the moves and just decipher what is being shown. Like for example, like if you want to go short or long.
That's it. Yeah. And that's what they say. Like it's literally, people hear all the time. We always hear about game of probabilities, right? And then people accept it, but then people who actually rely on it and actually act in that way, it's two different things. Take action on it, right? So, a lot of people hear it and they're like, okay, cool, but they don't do anything with that. They don't actually trust it. They don't actually try and apply it or anything. Then there's those who do apply it, right? But then they don't have the discipline towards it. And then there's the consistent traders who actually have the discipline towards it, understand it, and have the discipline just to continue to follow it regardless of a tough week, tough day, tough month maybe.
Just keep playing the edge and the numbers game. That's it.
That's it.
It's a game of probability. Nothing is certain. You cannot guarantee anything, but it's just putting the odds in your favor.
Yeah.
As much confidence as possible.
And keeping it realistic.
Yeah.
I feel like some people, unfortunately, nowadays they are trying to operate out of an edge, but they're trying to just do something that's unrealistic. Like constantly trying to get one to whatever, risk to reward wise, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 all the time.
I'll be honest, that was me as well in the beginning.
Oh, same.
Yeah, 100%. Like that's what, kind of, and I understand people, that say, oh, SMT trader, this and that. Because it has a bad name now because of exactly the same unrealistic expectations.
Yeah.
But if you use the same, you can be profitable with any strategy, okay? Everyone's agreed that, okay? Like, there's no thingy about it. I cannot question, like, if something works for you, it works for you, okay? Like, and as long as you're making money, that's it. So, regardless of the strategy or whatever. And where I think, like, especially with the SMC stuff, is that unrealistic expectations. But if you go down the path, and like that's what I fell into as well. But what I done different is instead of okay, look, this doesn't work, I was actually look, how can I make it work? And just going from there, and making realistic, I won't say expectation, but just being realistic in the markets, like what is possible. And just testing,
especially on lower time frames, right? Because if you're doing lower time frames, the possibility then opens of having more trade opportunities in comparison to say day trading and swing trading, right? But then even then keeping it realistic, right? So like, okay, my goal is, or my aim is, if my entry drill presents itself, is to try and get a 1 to 5 a day. If it presents itself, then great, I'll execute. It doesn't mean though that I can't lose a trade, right? Exactly. I always lose a trade, so that's fine, but I tried, it presented. And it doesn't mean that it might not present itself. So then therefore you can't get one in that day because your edge said not to, right? So like last week, for example, that's my, 1 to 5 is sort of pretty much my like bread and butter, right? Sometimes I have to adjust. If the market like last week was a bit choppy, I ended up taking a partial at 1 to 4 last week because I recognized it was choppy. So sometimes you have to be a little bit fluid.
Adaptable. Exactly. There's nothing certain. Like how I see as well, even with your strategy and everything, you have to be adaptable to the market.
Yeah.
Exact same thing as what you've done. For example, you see, and this comes from experience. exact same thing. Like what I would have done before, for example, is, you know, I'll be aiming for maybe 1 to 10, for example, and it reverse at 1 to 8, for example. And these things you learn over time and experience, and you can read the market better. So the exact same thing, yeah. So you can adapt then where you want to take.
Well, yeah. Well, the thing is, there are people out there who could, you know, probably crush 1 to 10 consistently. Very small number of people, right? You know, there's hyper successful, you know, got the eye for it. They got their entry order, which gives it them. Fair play to those people. But the majority of people, from what I've seen, are in that 1 to 3 to 5 range, right? That's the realistic window, the consistent window that you can be paid from, right? Some on Twitter, from what I've seen, 1 to 2.
1 to 2.
No
Honestly,
problem, right? I wouldn't do that personally.
Yeah.
But I will never say to someone, hey, that's wrong.
You can't do that.
But there are people out there who do try to do that, right?
But I have seen as well data, especially 1 to 2 trades, you have a much higher strike rate.
Of course.
70, 80%. And honestly, like for me, if you can double your money per trade and you build a system around it, why not?
Well, the thing is, if we're consistent, because I know you do like 1 to 4, 5, I've seen the different RRs, yeah? If we're consistent doing them, if we decided to do 1 to 2, pretty much guaranteed.
We could adapt. I could adapt my system to a 1 to 2 as well if I wanted to.
Exactly.
But for me, how my system works, I'm very happy right now.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I'm content with my system. I'm happy, and it works for me. It's
and that's what matters.
Exactly. At the end of the day,
how long did you go through a period where you're kind of looking at this person and that person and trying to learn?
Honestly, like that gives me PTSD. Honestly, I swear to you.
How did you like kind of?
There was a period of time. I'll tell you exactly. I would say this was probably 6 months into when I started taking trading more serious. So I would say this was towards the end of 2020. Around November, December 2020, I would say. A few months before that. So I would say November 2020 was when I started getting a bit more serious into the thing. And I was consistent at the time. So I was coming up towards consistency. But before that, 3, 4, 5 months before that, there was a time where you see the Instagram traders, you see everybody, I'm not lying, every day 1 to 10, 1 to 20. 1 to 10, 1 to 20 daily. And then I'm sitting there on the charts and I'm trying to replicate this now. I'm like, okay, look, I understand technicals, I understand it, but why is it not working for me? And then I had that period of time where, you know, I decided to like completely, I unfollowed maybe 80% of the traders, because then I realized, you know, this is not possible. This is how I kind of like reverse engineered it. I was like, look, these people claim to be funded, okay? They're doing 1 to 20 trades every single day. Even if they're risking 0.5%, that's 10% every day. I look at the FTMO leaderboards. I see no one there.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, look, it's not this. There's something fishy there.
Yeah,
there's something.
Interviews.
Something is not right. And then like I kind of took a step back. This is when I got into like then to build my own system.
Yeah.
What works for me? What do I understand? What is my understanding of the market? And what can I make work? And then that was a period where I went through back testing a lot, live testing, forward testing, taking a lot of losses, learning from the losses. And so just building and refining my own system. And then from there, it was, okay, look, I don't have a fixed 3, 4, 5, whatever. Yeah. I take what the market gives me. Sometimes it gives me 7 or sometimes it gives me 3. So it's...
Do you have like a minimum?
A minimum, I would say 3.
Yeah.
And 7. At 3, between 3 and 4, I will take off partials 100%, regardless where the market... I do not care if the trade is going 20R at 3, 4R or at my first liquidity point.
Yeah.
I will take off at minimum 50%. So between 50 and 70%.
That's what I did. Last week I got a 1 to 100, yeah? But I took off 50. I only aim for 1 to 5. So if it goes to 1 to 100, oh, amazing, whatever. Because at 1 to 5, I would take... On this particular trade, I took 50%.
Yeah.
And then I took another 50% of that 50%, I went to 10. And I just kept doing 50% at these key levels and so on.
And just let the rest run.
Yeah, and then it was on FTMO, so then I had to close But the 1 to 100 ended up being in total. So normally I use 0.5% risk. So my 1 to 5 would give me what? 2.5%.
Yeah.
Right? but I managed to get out of the 1 to 100 10%, just because I partialed and closed, and that's 4 times more than the 1 to 5.
Yeah.
So am I going to sit there like, I could have had 100% return? No, right?
You take what the market is giving you.
Yeah. And am I happy with the 4 times more my normal trade?
Yeah.
I mean, that can be done for the whole month.
Exactly.
You know?
And I've seen that as well, even with me with partials. The most important thing is you're banking the profits.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I've banked profit, I'm happy. Okay. And now for me, I do not care if like I'm at break even. I do not care if it comes back to break even because I've banked a certain percent.
Yeah.
That's my daily intake, basically taking it.
That's it. Yeah.
Now anything else is extra. Sometimes it's happened where I've closed the trade at 1 to 5, complete full volume.
Yeah.
And then it's gone on to do like another 10 half, for example, or 5. But
You're paid.
you have accepted the fact that this market is like a piece of cake. Like that's how I see it. Okay, you have to take your cut, and that's it. And if you're given more, that's a blessing. But just every day, just showing.
Well, that's the thing. Like the key word you used there was accepted, right? So you've accepted that. The reality, though, the reason why others can't just replicate what you're saying there is because they don't truly accept it.
Yeah.
Right. It's part of like trading in the zone where he talks about actually accepting loss and risk. Sorry, actually accepting risk. Like you could say, I'm risking 1% and I'm happy to lose it, right? Before you take the trade, but when you're in the trade, why are you so heightened? Why are you so like staring at the chart? Yeah. It shows and proves that you haven't actually accepted it. You've made out you have.
Yeah.
You're pretending that you have. Yeah. But the difference is, as you said, you've accepted that I paid myself. But a lot of people don't accept these things. They pretend they do, but they don't. And that's the key difference.
And that's how you grow as a trader as well. And then once you start accepting this, and then you start scaling, and that's how you grow. That's it. Like if you get the beginning phase wrong, like the foundation part's wrong, if you're like pissed off at the markets, or you're pissed off, like you're like like you start getting emotional, and the thing is, the market's cut out for you not to make it. Like it's gonna try everything, and if you go down that route, then you're gonna start taking bad trades and everything. Yeah. But if you have a calm approach and accept it as a business, and another thing actually that somebody asked me as well is challenge accounts. Like how do you keep your challenge accounts? Like how do you because they have a 10% max.
Yeah.
5% daily is how do you manage to keep the funded accounts? And that's it, very simple, is treating the accounts in half the size. So for example, let's say I have a 200k account, I treat it as a 100k account. So I'm like halving my risk even more.
Yeah.
You understand? Like, so example, you have a 5% daily drawdown. Now I'm going half risk. You have now
double the trade. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why I do 5%.
Yeah. So, and even the 0.5%, like if I would go even more half now.
Yeah.
Because now I'm treating like the 100k account, I'm treating the 200k account like a 100k account.
Yeah.
And
so now you're doing 0.25%.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for me, because
that's the thing. So if you have a 400k account with FTMO, the quarter is then 1% on 100k.
Exactly. So that's how it works, and that's how you make.
Does it keep it longevity?
Exactly.
Because a 0.25% is 40 trades you'd have to lose in a row.
To lose the account. Exactly.
Which is, if you got the edge, near impossible.
Exactly. So that's exactly. So people ask me, they're blowing funded accounts. How can I go on about it? Is stop being greedy. Like I don't like. If you treat the 200k like a 100k account, you didn't have that 100k account before. So why are you trying to be greedy, for example? Or I think these small things, these are key into your longevity in the market.
100%. And don't get me wrong, like I will say, there are people I've seen who, they risk 1% and they're happy to, and they smash it out. And from what I've seen them though, is that they have a entry drill where they're not entering every day. So like Mansour is a great example, right? Mansour risks 1%, but he might take 2 trades in a month.
Okay.
But he can do that and trust that and stick to the 1% because his strike rate, because of waiting for his entry drill specifics, is very, very high. Does that make sense?
Even for me.
But when you're doing high frequency trading, 1%.
Yeah, exactly. But even for me, like now this is again something over the last few months that I have developed is betting. So higher percentage on high conviction. So high probability areas, high probability trades, and those trades I will happily take 0.5%, 1%, because now those will make up your numbers.
It's like trying to that quote of like let your winners run and
and that's something I found as well during doing the challenge accounts. Again, somebody asked me, how do I go on about challenge accounts and what do you think about challenge? Like, what's the best way to pass funding? And challenge accounts. So the main thing with challenge accounts is, again, you're given a time restriction, 30 days. And honestly, I hate doing challenges.
Like, I think everyone does. I've never met anyone who likes it.
I do not like doing them. Honestly, I do not like doing them. And the main thing is that I have seen is it has a direct impact on my trading.
Yeah.
Because you're now forced, because of the time period, you're like kind of, okay, look, I have to trade. Whereas
I need to get 10% as well. Like I need to have I need to hit this.
Exactly. Whereas when you're trading, like when I'm trading normal funded account, I'm trading my own personal account.
Just whatever.
Exactly. So like this week, for example, I only took that one trade that I posted as well. And because of there's red news folders and everything, so I kind of knew.
Just whatever your entries will give you.
Like for me, that trade, I'm good, fine. One trade, done. Happy with that. I think that was on Tuesday or Wednesday. Didn't trade on Thursday and Friday. Yeah, Wednesday. Didn't trade Thursday and Friday. So challenge accounts, what happens is you're now given that 30 days window, and that basically forces you to kind of trade. You have to trade.
It basically creates an environment that isn't what you want.
Exactly.
In terms of consistency trading, it's the opposite of having pressure applied to you.
Exactly.
You're meant to be doing it chill, let your entry draw present itself. But in the challenge environment, a verification environment, it's designed to do that. That's why it's a funny one, because obviously it's an amazing opportunity and that people should go for.
100%.
But
once you do it, trust me, you
can grow. That whole get rich quick thing. The thing is, that's what prop firms is based on, right? They know that people are going to be thinking like, oh wow, I can get 200k or 400k, for example, and I can make 40 grand this month. And right now I'm making $400, a week or whatever. Now I can make 40 grand in a month. So easy, right? That's what they're banking on. That's what they're banking on there, right? And then, as we just talked about, they have designed, or they have to, in terms of the challenge, it's designed in a way to put stress on you, right? And to put you in a heightened situation, which is the complete opposite of what you want as a trader.
Exactly optimal.
So, that's why I think everyone doesn't like challenges. No. I've never met anyone who likes them, because it doesn't make sense, right? But once you have one,
of course it changes a lot. Like honestly, one payout can wipe out years of previous losses.
This is what my first ever payout on a funded account wiped out was the same amount as all the losses I had and blown accounts.
I remember you telling me that.
And money spent on courses in one payout.
Right? Exactly.
My first payout, right? Which was luck, which was a bit of luck, but yeah, it's just so true. But the thing is, what I don't want that to come across as is like that's what it has to be like. No, it's just a case where it's the mindset. The only way that is possible is the mindset. If you have as you say, talk about edge, calm, and following the edge and risk management. That's why I advise to do less risk. I understand in terms of challenge though. What do you think actually? Because in terms of challenge, I say go for 1%, or 0.5%, right? But go a bit more aggressive on the challenge, because at the end of the day, you want to get
over it. You want to cross the line. So how I see with the challenges is, what I've seen, what's worked for me. I can only share from my own experience.
Of course.
So what I've seen is, and what works well, I would say is, okay, you have 30 days, 10%. You have to split it down now. I would say, let's say you split it down to getting 3% a week for 3 weeks, 9%, and you have one left over a week. Because not every week might be a good trading. So aiming for 3% a week in a month. And then how I would trade during that week is, this is the hard bit now, is basically you have to kind of force yourself to not take shit trades. Honestly,
the lower probability.
You have to honestly have a strict rules, again, from your developed system. But now when it comes to the challenge, you have to follow it to the T.
Mm-hmm.
You have to accept, okay, look, these are my rules. And what I can say is high probability trades, identify high probability areas, high probability areas of trading, time frame, very important. And so for example, how I trade it, 15-minute areas. Now my 15-minute area has to be a very high probability area to trade from.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will take a confirmation from that. And those trades I will take then on a higher percentage. But in the first, I would say, like create a buffer of 2 to 3% on a half risk. So trade a half risk until you have 2 to 3% positive.
And now
Go 1%, for example, and aim for 1 to 3 or 1 to 2, 1 to 3, like bank profits, basically. And for example, let's say the trade target is 1 to 5. At 1 to 3, bank 80%, let the rest run. And then, so building a buffer, 2 to 3%, and then risking slightly higher, maybe 0.75% to 1%, and only on high probability setups. This you might get 2 or 3 times a week. It's very hard. You have to sit. I would also say when you're in the challenge environment, sit both sessions if you can. You might get,
need that availability.
So because it's possible, like let's say if you're only trading New York, you have 5 days to trade New York in that week. You might not get your entry in the first 3 days.
You might not even get it all of them.
Exactly.
Right?
So
just giving yourself the best possible chance to have the most data.
Exactly. So if you're sitting through London and New York, now you have double the amount of chances of your edge being presented. And for example, if you hit your target in London and then only trade like the next session if it's super high probability and go lower risk, for example, like you could go half risk. You don't want to expose yourself again to the market.
Because again, it's like it's not guaranteed. So
exactly. Nothing. Exactly. So it's a lot playing a safe ball, but high probability. And where people fail, what I've seen as well, like people is they're constantly taking shit trades. Like honestly, like they're like
chasing.
Yeah, because in there you're thinking, okay, look, I have to trade, I have to make.
Especially when they're a percent or two out. You know, like when they're the target. So like especially on verifications and challenges, like if they're at 8% profit or 4% profit for the verification, then they'll take shit trades massively.
And then it comes down.
And that's normally when they blow it, bro. They just go straight because the psychology of them being so close to this goal that they've been thinking about for so long.
And then now, being off it,
then it just starts going away, and they think, "Oh, let me just take one more, I'll get it back. One more, I'll get it back," and then bam, 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 bam.
Yeah. And then again, having for example, the challenge gives you 5% daily. I have 1.5%, so 3 losing trades if you're risking 0.5%.
I was just saying to Tans, I don't see why anyone would ever get close to that 5%. That any system, it doesn't make sense.
I do understand it though. I can understand it, like revenge trading.
No, I know why people hit it. But if people are doing it properly, I don't see why anyone should.
Honestly, even like
it's a great indication that you're not doing it right. You know,
if you're losing a funded account, for example, on a 5% daily drawdown, that's because you have gambling, to. So again, like I have rules. I don't. If I have 3 losing days in a row, I won't trade the rest of the week.
Okay.
Again, if I have 3 losing trades in a day, I call it off. That's it. That's my trading day done. And so it's just.
And how often does that happen? They're probably not that often, right?
3 losing trades in a day. I mean, there's been periods of time where I've had days where I've had 3 losses in a row, and then that's it. But then the next day or like the day after, you make that back. So it's okay. I mean, like the rules. Honestly, like if you're trying to make it here in the markets, if you're trying to become consistent, profitable, the only way you're going to make it is having a solid system and strict rules, and then you have to have the discipline to follow them. And there's no holy grail, there's no holy grail course or whatever. It's only mastering yourself.
I think it's literally like you said. There's a very small period of time at the beginning of just learning a strategy. After you've learned and understood that strategy, then it's essentially the whole rest of the road.
It's only down to yourself.
Self-mastery.
And again, like, people like leak courses and all this stuff. You're not gonna. It does make a difference. Okay, at the end of the day, the only thing, like for example, with mentorship. Okay, this is that where somebody can show you the ways, basically how to develop as a trader, whereas a leaked course can only give you so much, can only give you the technicals, for example, okay? But, you know, there's not many people that can show you how to be profitable. And yes, I don't know. I know you the way you trade as well, your system one, like that whole thing, and that calmness. Like even for me now, I have been trading for over 2 years now consistently, and now I am in a phase where I have a lot of time now, where I have done all the hard work, all of the hours, everything. Now for me, it's just showing up, maybe 2-3 hours a day, 4 hours a day.
This is it. So like, when we talk about trading is boring, right? This is, I think people get a misconception where they think it literally means as in you don't care about it, or you're literally bored. But it's not the case. It's not actually being bored. It's just repetitive. That's what we mean. So like as you say, you turn up every day, you set your hours, you look for your entry drill. If it presents, you execute. If not, no problem.
Exactly.
You're still excited about trading,
of course.
In terms of you love it. You're passionate about it. You still want to get on the charts. You enjoy being on the charts. You enjoy the process of executing and winning or losing. Maybe not losing, but you enjoy the process.
And you want to grow more as a trader as well.
Yeah, you still want to excel. Yeah.
So even for me now, I have so much more time. Where am I spending all this time? Is it's not just sitting on your session. There's so much more. Okay, you still have to journal. You still have to do all of that boring stuff. And for me, for example, now I want to grow further as a trader, not just technical, but now I'm looking more into fundamentals.
Yeah, so you just did something recently, yeah?
Yeah, so I'm done this course with HSBC.
Nice.
It's a free online course, and I'm doing another one as well. And for me, it's just expanding my knowledge and my understanding. And
how have you found it?
It was really good, honestly. It was a bit challenging, I would say. Like it was like,
that's what makes it good.
Yeah. So it wasn't like a walk in the park. It was good. Enjoyed it. Learned quite a few things.
It was online based.
Yeah, online based, virtual based. Made notes, and went away to do a little bit of my own research, and and now even I'm speaking to Joe as well. I want to get more into the macro and fundamentals. I want to learn. Literally, I want to learn every single thing that I can
about trading, investing.
Because
at the end of the day, those same things impact the crypto market, impact the stock market. So, and what I loved about what Joe said on the last one, remember, was that's how the world works.
Fundamentally, they drive the markets.
Yeah.
So as traders, if like before I was so technical, only technical first focus, but now I'm understanding more and more about the world and everything that's impacting. I want to know more about it, and also where I want to be in the next 5 to 10 years, where I want to be, and I'm already studying towards.
You want to position yourself.
Yeah, exactly, and I'm already studying towards that position where I want to be.
It's essentially like chess, right? So chess, to be good at chess and to win at chess, you need to be thinking moves ahead, right? So it's the same in life. If you want to be, as a trader, but also in life, if you want to be successful, you need to be thinking ahead. Your time horizon doesn't mean you still want to act in the present moment, but you need to be, you need to have a vision. You need to be thinking about maneuvering yourself. And in line with that is obviously knowing what the world's doing, because you live in this world, right? So you need to know where is the tides are shifting, like right now. Yeah. Right now, it looks like tides are shifting massively. In a way that probably hasn't happened in a few generations.
I agree.
And therefore, if you're not positioned correctly, what do we expect is going to happen? You know what I mean? What will happen to us? And the only person to blame would be ourselves. Right? Because we had, especially us as traders, for example, because we're in the markets, we're seeing how volatile things are. We're our ears are to the ground where we're hearing certain things in comparison to maybe the average person who literally just knows that the energy price has gone up. And that there's a war going on over there, but they don't know anything else.
For example, we have seen this basically 6 to 12 months ahead, where the recession is coming, inflation is coming.
The biggest one is the CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. That's the biggest one, right? Because if that comes in as the way they talk about it, being programmable and essentially what they mean by programmable,
completely traceable,
100% traceable. That's where I know that when I hear about traceable, that's where I sit back and think it's almost a 100% guaranteed that is coming. Yeah, because that's the major issue at the moment, is that they lack control of knowing
where the money is going and coming from.
Yeah, because if you've taken £100 cash out, for example. Where's that gone? I don't know. Right? But if you can't, if it's all digital, and I'll know exactly where your money came from, where you're spending it, who's then got it after you, everything. And programmable is the danger bit, where essentially if, let's say, they don't want you to spend money on alcohol. Let's take, for example.
Yeah,
or
on
even
the
better than
18
alcohol, like maybe this...
drugs, yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
right? They can
switch your money
switch it off, yeah.
That's exactly my fear, okay? And how I'm seeing it right now, the whole COVID situation, that basically tried to implement into the society already. Contactless payment, no cash being accepted. So all of this shit is already being forced into the society.
Yeah.
And
well, they've been paving the way.
Yeah.
And then COVID was their way of like
pushing it,
allowing it to be accepted.
Exactly. So I remember during COVID going to places and be like, we don't take cash. What do you mean you don't take cash? I have a legal tender in my hands and you don't want to take money from me?
Yeah.
It didn't make sense to me. And so seeing all of these things, you're far ahead than the normal person.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
That allows you to basically position yourself in certain ways. This is where I'm also very big on Bitcoin. Is for me that is the future. Honestly, like for me, like that is one thing where but for me that's like what I've done my research for. So if, for example, these digital currencies do come into play, and who is it going to affect the most people? Is the people doing the cash in hand jobs. You know, there is certain
they're
people,
wiped out instantly.
They'll get wiped out. And there's certain families, they live in a certain condition where, you know, they will lose their livelihood if that comes into play, because they don't have no other way.
Well, think about all the drug dealers alone, right? All of them.
Not just drug dealers. Okay, let's okay, that's illegal. Okay, let's talk about actual legal work. Okay, like cash in hand jobs. Takeaway drivers, delivery drivers. If they're like, you know, they're on low income already, and they're just getting by, now they are being forced to.
Well, you see the impact on the taxi drivers.
Yeah.
Right. So
exactly.
like when Uber came in and they all became, or Uber's 100% digital. Look at the impact it did to all these taxi drivers.
Yeah, a lot of even the delivery drivers and taxi drivers, they rely on tips, for example. And when you have cash, it's tips. Okay, digital not so much. So exactly, is those working in the lower field jobs, those are the ones that would get hurt the most. Like
it's what there's apparently it's like essentially they're trying to get rid of the lower class, right? So it's pure working class and then the upper class, and it's literally the classic,
scary,
you know, attack the small,
it's scary,
the weaker man, you know, the weaker people.
Exactly, and then cancel culture, all of this stuff. Kanye West got his bank account cancelled now, okay, because he said something.
Look at Mr. Top G, everything.
Exactly.
Discord, Airbnb,
so this is the
Uber.
thing. So when this comes into play, now for example, you know, you say something that the government does not like, they can take instant access away from all of your money.
Yeah.
It like complete without you having any. Yeah, it's scary, honestly, man.
It is scary, honestly, and the thing is, what I feel potentially, I could be wrong. I feel like it's another one of those things where people are talking about it and it will happen, but it's just not as soon as people think it will happen.
Yeah.
Because, don't get me wrong, this has definitely been in line and like been in plans for decades.
I 100% think about the Great Reset. I don't know if like who know like controversy, like I definitely do.
Well, they talk about it, don't they? The World Economic Forum they've had published articles, published papers, physically spoken on stage about Great Reset and CBDC.
And I think now it's like a perfect time for all of that to come in, because now the currencies are dying completely. So
they're all going. I think when euro, dollar, and pound are literally all pretty much level.
Yeah.
That's when I've always thought that, like in terms of one world currency, that's the only way it would work, right? When the majority of the currencies are level.
Yeah. And now exactly, so for example, so the dollar has crashed everything else. Now when the dollar starts coming crashing down, that's when it's going to impact all of this shit.
Oh, massively.
Like that's when it's going to come down. And so it's scary times, honestly. Like,
and then if you add that onto, I don't know, do you know about the Chinese social credit system? So essentially, rather than actual credit, so how you manage your money and stuff, this is social. So based on, you know, what you say, who you are, what acts you do. Not only that though, but social as in your friends. So let's say if I'm socially got a negative score, but you've socially got a higher score, but your friends, like you're here with me now,
I would get
you get a negative score. Have you seen there's a Black Mirror?
Okay.
Have you ever seen Black Mirror?
Yeah, I've seen that.
They got an episode similar to that.
And all of that is coming into
they've already implemented it there in China, and then that's going to implement together with the CBDCs. And it just goes into hand in hand with the Big Brother You know, basically the world has shifted in
Yeah.
this direction for the last 3-4 decades. You know, we go back to our parents' generation or their parents. There was very little
Control.
very little control, very little CCTV, you know, and cameras all over the place. Obviously, no social
Control.
media,
Yeah.
right?
Less
and
control.
you know, even TVs were coming up then, right? And so less control. But the weird thing is, there would have been maybe a bit more crime, more than likely, but probably not to a degree where it was out of control and anarchy, right?
If anything, they were living in a better time.
I say
Honestly,
so.
like the 70s, 80s.
Human connection was bigger. Community was massive.
Massive.
You know,
Morals, values, family morals.
yeah,
The relationships, everything. Like, if you look back at the 70s, 80s,
work
and
ethics.
90s, anyone you speak to, even my parents, they say those were the golden times. Like people were happy. Whereas you go outside now, people are not happy.
We have an epidemic now,
exactly.
don't we? We have obviously male depression is at all-time highs.
I honestly think, like, as the world is progressing, as there's more technology coming into our lives, into society, it's getting worse. Especially now with this digital currency stuff. Like, how do you protect yourself from that? What do you...
That's it. Well, I think one of the better ones, like you said, Bitcoin.
Bitcoin, 100%.
And then the other one would be, in my opinion, without even doing much research, would be like gold or silver.
Gold. Yeah.
Because those ones are the original money. If everything went to shit, technology went down, what are people going to want to exchange with?
See, you say gold, yeah. Now, if I say gold is exactly equivalent of today's time in BTC, because think about it, okay, gold, the only problem with gold where I see is you cannot carry kilos of gold.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you know, for example, but right now I can send you 7 figures in Bitcoin instantly almost, okay, without, you know, I can bring out my laptop and we can shift.
We can do it on your phone.
Yeah, we could, exactly. I can send an email.
I've always gotten to a point now where you can, they have like lightning payments, don't they? So you literally,
exactly.
you can pay in a lot of places in crypto.
Exactly. So for example, let's say something does come down. Are you going to carry all of your gold with you? Can you transact outside world with gold? Like, you probably could. Like, if you're going to say to me, bro, I need your watch, for example. I got this.
But generally though, innit? Like, you know, going in a restaurant and stuff.
Exactly. So where, like, now if you say gold, the equivalent of today's, how I see it, the digital world, is Bitcoin.
It's true. No, I agree with you. I do agree with you. And on the other side of it, scarce. So like there's a limited supply.
Untraceable, scarce, untraceable, and split. I can send you. You can't. How are you gonna? For example, gold bar. Okay, how are you gonna split that? Whereas I can send you the exact amount that I want to send you.
Yeah. No. It definitely holds merit. Definitely holds weight. The only thing that puts me off with BTC is just no one knows who made it. You know what I mean?
But
so then
I think
you have these conspiracies.
I think it's better that nobody knows. Maybe.
I think so. Yeah. No, there are definitely benefits. Definitely benefits of doing that.
Because that has the, like, if you truly understand the purpose of Bitcoin, decentralization. Now, if you knew who made it, that would take the purpose away. You understand? So I think purposely it's been created where then nobody knows like, who has created it.
But then you have like countries, for example, I remember there was one time where China had majority of the mining farms, for example. So therefore they have a greater control over this. You know, I think it shifted, I think.
Yeah, it's been shifting now all over the world now.
Yeah.
More centralized in America now as well.
Yeah, exactly. So like, you know, in terms of, I do agree with the decentralization and anonymous side, but then you also can trace the wallets.
Yeah.
Maybe without the identity.
Yeah.
But you can trace the wallets,
yeah.
which to a degree doesn't really matter too much, right? Yeah. It's like tracing a sort code and account number without the name.
Yeah.
I
much rather that than the digital currency, for example. You know.
Oh no, 100%. No. If I was to have to choose between the two, it's no brainer.
Yeah.
No brainer. I would, if it was up to me, I would not even get involved, and hopefully it will be up to us. But you know how the world.
I don't think like the way.
Well, I think for people, it's a tough one, really, isn't it? For 9 to 5 people, they will have no choice whatsoever. That's the thing. They will have no choice. I think one way to usher this in, I've heard, is talking about universal basic income. So everyone gets a basic income, but in CBDCs.
Okay.
And that's their way of getting people to accept this new way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like someone who's grinding for a 9 to 5 only to make 2K, they will say, hey, with CBDCs, we're going to give you 1K every month. Just generally, every month, 1K. Universal basic income. Everyone gets 1K of CBDCs, but programmable, of course. So therefore, it doesn't matter if you're getting 1K if you can't use it. And one thing they did say, that's very scary, is about expiry date. Right? So
yeah, if you don't spend it, they take it away.
Yeah.
See, all of this stuff, it goes against everything.
Have you seen the film In Time? So Justin Timberlake.
I've heard of.
I watched it. It's very underrated.
A very good friend of mine, she told me to watch this movie.
Bro, this film.
And I have been, honestly, that's been on my list since over a year now.
What after this conversation, watch it soon.
Okay,
yeah,
I'm gonna try.
That film, essentially, the premise is that you have your time on your wrist.
Okay.
And the currency is time, which essentially it is in real life. So everything, you work for some more time.
Okay.
And you spend, obviously, in time. But the lower class people, they have very little time left on their clocks. They're living literally, and if your time runs out, you die. You're dead. Yeah, which essentially, if you run out of money, you're probably going to die, right? So the lower class people and the working class, they're all stressed all the time and worried because they've only got hours on their clock all the time, or a day, right? But the rich, they got thousands of years. They got a millennium. And essentially the movie is that premise about,
seems interesting.
Viewing that system. And if you then apply that sort of mindset, just to today, today's day and age in society, it's pretty much the same. We're exchanging our time for money and then exchanging the money for products and services. So it's essentially the same. But when we then apply it to then the next level above, CBDCs, it's almost identical. Especially in terms of like, pay wise. So in the movie they say, you're working the same job you were yesterday, but now we're giving you less time for that work, and you have no choice.
Yeah, you have to accept it.
Same with the bus. I remember in the movie, a bus turns up, right, and she doesn't have enough time to pay for the bus.
Okay.
But yesterday it was this much. Well, today it's this much. Well, I can't.
Yesterday,
you know what I mean?
Price is not today's.
Exactly, and then she ends up. I don't want to ruin the movie for you, but
I'll have to watch that one.
But yeah, it really opens your eyes. Very underrated movie. I actually really loved it because the concept of it is very powerful. But yeah, it's very interesting times. The one thing I want to make sure is that never live in fear in terms of you shouldn't hear these things. I've been guilty of it in the past where I hear these things and I'm like, oh shit, I need to do this drastic decisions or thinking like start worrying. But there's no point living in a state of worry.
Because when it comes, it will come to everybody.
Yeah.
You have to learn to adapt and the thing is, there's always ways around everything. Okay.
Oh yeah.
There's enough but how I do see it, like if they do come down, like it's the same way. For example, bank accounts came in. Okay. I remember times. My grandma. I remember going to the. They were on paper. They would write down like the cash, and then they would have to go to the bank and deposit the bank. They didn't like the banking system. I remember like they would have preferred to have cash sitting at home. Then
it just slowly became the norm.
It slowly became the norm where now you have to deposit in order to pay for bills or whatever. You have to use the bank.
No, back in the day, it wasn't the case because you can go post office and pay your bills in cash. Well, to be fair, back in their times, they didn't have to pay for gas, electric. It was nationalized. So obviously it was government owned. So you didn't have to pay gas and electric. Taxes as well didn't used to be. Well, I don't know about the grandparent stage, but go back another generation, maybe there weren't taxes. A lot of these things were introduced in a tricky way from what I've learned.
So that's what I'm saying. Like for example, every single person now has a bank account. Okay, like without that, I can't function today. Okay, pretty much. Like I can't. If I get, for example, my bank accounts get taken away from me, my cards get taken away from me, I only have cash left. Obviously, you can survive, but it would be very, very inconvenient. And then again, same thing. The digital currencies come in.
Well, then cash you can never do it.
They will come in a way where you're forced exact same way the way the bank accounts came in, exact same way. So.
Well, the thing is, it's coercion. That's what I'm saying. So it's not even forced, because forcing is that's where revolutions actually happen, right? But the fact is, you give them an element of choice and make it feel like it's we've chosen ourselves to do it. That's where that universal basic income idea comes in, because then people will choose and elect to do it, especially the lower class. Of course they will, because they're already struggling.
The majority of them, like if
exactly,
if there's more of,
it's the pyramid, isn't it? They're the base, they're the foundation, which then obviously trickles down. So 100%. But then like with the taxes, apparently the way the taxes came in was like it's a temporary thing. Because after the wars, in particular, we need to rebuild the country, so we just need a bit of tax. Just charge everyone. Everyone's involved. Everyone gets charged, but it's temporary. But then it didn't, and then it increases, and then it increases, and then it gets to a point where, essentially, what it is, it's like getting everyone to a point where they're complaining. Will ease off a bit. We've increased their pain tolerance. We've increased their tolerance of what they're willing to accept. right? And we recognize where it's a bit too far. Let's take a little step back. You know, okay, they've calmed down now. Let's push a little bit more, right? So from 10%, let's increase it to 12.5. Oh, they're complaining now at 13. Stop. Yeah, a little bit more, 15. Yeah, and that's how it's all gone about. Same with the gas and electric. They probably promoted it as it's going to be good for us, cheaper prices. You know, cheaper prices, more stimulated economy. Maybe it started that way, and then as the corporations took over, increase those prices, and then tone it back a little bit, tone it up. So right now, what we're seeing, strikes, we're seeing economy in the gutter, basically.
People refusing in countries, people refusing to pay. I think it was Italy. It was a small town or whatever, and all of them, they combined, they're firing up the bill, and like, we're not gonna pay.
Have you heard Italy's got a new prime minister now? Yeah, have you heard some of her speeches?
The far right, right? Yeah,
savage, honestly. This is the weird thing, like, you know, with like far right and left, like I don't know, I know very little. Like if someone was to say to me, are you left or right or conservative, Labour or anything like that, I would not know. I would say none, right? But I'm sure if I was to speak about my views, someone would then put a label on me.
Yeah, because they would attach your views to
whatever. Yeah. But I would be like, no, that's not how I want to be. You know, I don't live with these labels. As far as I see it, I'm human. And I just want to stay human. You know what I mean?
And I want to stay as far away as possible from politics, honestly.
Exactly. And the way I see it is like, we've got one world. Put the countries to one side. We've got one world, one planet, We've got one people. Everyone's a human race. You know, there's no special race, right? We're all one human race.
Of course.
And that's it. That's as simple as it needs to be.
And if you can stay as simple as that, you'll get by. You'll
be content. You'll be happy. You won't have
once you start
enemies.
Once you start getting to the race, the religion, all this, you know, like the segregation, the groups, left, right.
Well, look at it trading. That's high level, right? That's like proper deep level. You know, I can understand why it probably has divisions there, because it's normally, you know, so we're talking about society, we're talking about economies. You know, it makes sense. But why it's so bad that it happens in trading? Oh, you're part of ICT. You know, you're part of this group. You know, you trade in RSI. Oh my goodness. You know what I mean? Like it just shows you how basic minds are, you know, and just how divided they have us.
Honestly,
to the point where we're fighting over chart work. You know what I mean?
Honestly, like how I see it is, especially in the market, is if you're making money in the market, why are you concerned about what another man is doing? Like completely, like it makes no relevance to you. It makes no difference to you. It's not like we're eating off each other, or
it's not like conventional business.
Yeah, it's not like,
I mean, we both own a restaurant and we're next door to each other.
Yeah,
then it makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Then I can say, you know, your food is not nice. Or, you know, but like, and then so how I see it is, the ones that are making, they're not concerned about what somebody else is doing. Or if you're so focused on your own growth and your own thing, you it doesn't really matter what anyone else is doing.
Well, this is a thing. So like from Outwitting the Devil, he talks about impulses, controlling your impulses. He talks specifically about controlling your addictions such as alcohol and smoking and stuff like that. He talks specifically about food and drink. But one of the ones that he specifically talked about, but people don't talk about, is not being disciplined. People not being disciplined in giving out their opinion. Yeah. So just saying just openly saying whatever they want and saying whatever they think without control, without discipline,
without thinking of
without
what impact it might have.
Well, there's that, but just generally like loosely formed opinions, just being too happy to just throw them out there, which is exactly what you're saying there about people. So this man's doing this, trading this way and that. It shows a very lack of discipline, right? It shows a lack of control of the mind, right? And those same people who do that normally 9 times out of 10 aren't trading, right? And aren't doing it consistently or profitably. And a lot of people don't talk about that. We always talk about, try not to be obviously an addict with alcohol or with drugs, or maybe you don't do all those things at all, but try not to be more disciplined with obviously, your what you drink and what you eat even, right? To stay healthy. Or we hear about people, try and be careful what you watch or listen to. Yeah. But barely anyone talks about try and be careful how you speak. Yeah. And how easy it is. Like, 'cause I've been guilty of it in the past, where I'll very easily give my opinion, but I try to be very mindful of. I want to hear everyone else's first. Plus, especially if I'm not an expert in this field, why am I even going to give my opinion? It doesn't even matter.
They say like a wise man once said nothing.
Yeah.
If you can't add value to the conversation, for example, it's better to say nothing.
Yeah, 100%. And it's very interesting how we see that. And like I said, it's strange how we can talk about the levels of society, which is very, very important to talk about, and how it just seeps into things as basic as trading in our industry.
Honestly, like that, it's just crazy. Like, once you are in this field, like you learn so much about yourself, society, the way the human mind works, behavioral patterns, like all of this stuff. And that's just because we chose to choose a career path in this way. And like honestly, there's so much more than just trading. And honestly, like it opens up your mind so much more.
That's what I like about trading, because trading, even if we got into FX, right? But just by getting into FX, suddenly you're learning about fundamentals in FX, right? Which then also impacts stocks, which then a lot of the knowledge from FX, you can transition to stocks. A lot of the knowledge also transition to crypto. A lot of the knowledge now with, say, NFTs. A lot of the knowledge can then be applied to so many different things from just one skill set. And that's why I think it's pretty unique almost to trading in one way, because it opens the door to so many different doors. Futures, equities, the world is your oyster, honestly, in trading.
And just being able to be teachable. Like if you can learn that one skill, for example, and master that, then you can pretty much go on and learn about anything else you want as well. Like that's how I see it. Like if you've like now learned this skill and you've done whatever and you've gone through it, now you're in a state of mind or like where you are teachable. Where you can, especially because it's a hard, difficult skill.
Or when you've done it once, you've built that tolerance, endurance, mindset.
Now you can go on to do other things.
And then you're essentially going into those other things already knowing what it takes. So therefore, you've actually taken, say, 60% out of the pain and the suffering, etc., of getting into trading. Now you're probably going to be starting just with a smaller section. So you've led yourself to easier mastery. So when people say have multiple streams of income, the fact is you have to master one first, and that will allow you to branch. It's like the main, streams. Streams are obviously smaller branches off rivers.
True.
So the river is that main first additional mastery, right? That gives you that influx to then create the streams.
Once you have those skills, now you can use the
branch out,
to branch out and then
recycle the cash and so on.
That's exactly what I'm doing now. So like I'm learning coding. I've been learning. I mean, I had bit of experience.
You've been doing the typing courses, the free thing. Joe used to sit next to me at Astro doing this typing shit, man. Honestly, savage.
So I had a module at university already. So I done my master's in machine learning as well.
Oh, perfect.
And now my aim is now combining that to my trading system, because my trading system is very mechanical. That's how I see it. Now I want to combine the two, and that's like for me the next project and next thing I'm working on.
It's a challenge, That's one thing I do enjoy doing.
It's difficult. That's why for me, that's the next thing. Like again, people have told me, bots don't work, trading bots don't work, EAs don't work.
Something to overcome.
Now it's the thing that I want to overcome and make a good EA. Like a good working.
I think there's people out there who have them, but they just don't promote them.
There is.
They'll just keep them. Why do they need to promote it? Just keep it to yourself.
There's in the whole EA world, trading EA world, there's two types. Okay, there's one type that work, but you will keep it for yourself. Why would you give it out? Then there's another type that shit EAs. That you will find if you just Google, for example. The 90%. It's the exact same thing like retail courses. 90% you find on wherever. Everywhere, those are that same bunch. But there's that unique. And there's people that sell their good work as well because it's
automation, isn't it?
Yeah, and like they don't lose.
So it's a good price tag.
They don't lose anything. You don't lose anything, It's
the same with trading, But the thing is that they will put, when you find the right one, it will be assigned with a proper price tag to match it. And when we talk price tag, we're not talking thousands either. We're talking tens of thousands, if not six figures.
And so like even for me, for example, if I was to create my system automated, then I would obviously have to look at options and whatever.
Yeah.
And
Well, you'd probably, one of the better routes that these people would use is investors.
so that's where I'm working towards. It's my own fund.
Definitely.
That's the next step, basically.
Do you have a name ready?
It is ready. It is ready. It is ready. It is ready. But yeah, again, this is like the next 3 to 5 years for me.
Actually having a plan, a vision.
So everyone starts somewhere small. So for me, this is like the first step.
Yeah.
And I'm now branching out. I'm
always wanting to
learning.
grow.
Yeah, I'm learning about different funds, how they work, researching actively.
Let me ask you something, yeah? So you mentioned that 3 to 5 year vision, yeah? So, we can talk about present moment and you can also talk about the past, right? So 3-5 years ago. Is this something that you've done where you've actually, spent the time to create that vision, be clear on what you're wanting to create, and then also, as you say, reverse engineering the steps to be able to go there and achieve that? Is that something you've actively done in your journey?
Yeah, 100%. Like, there's been certain times where I have like, it wouldn't be like one session or something, but there's like a period of my time over a few weeks where I thought, okay, look, where do I want to be over the next, let's say, 5 years? And what do I need to do today, the next 6 months, the next 1 year? Like kind of breaking it down. Okay?
Yeah.
Like, what do I need to do today to get to my 1 year goal? What do I need to do in 1 year to get to my 2 year goal?
Yes.
So breaking it down basically. And so exact same way. So where I want to be, I know where I want to be in the next 5 years. So I'm already starting to work. Okay, what do I need to do now? What do I need to do until next year?
Yeah.
Until I can
step by step.
Yeah. And so previously, again, trading, for example, 3, 4, 5 years ago when I did start out, it was not that, okay, it's a short-term thing or something. It was more like, look, I want to make this a career, 5 years, 3 to 5 years. Like, this is, and a very, another thing I would say is certain things happen for a reason. And a big thing I would say is the support I had from my family and especially my siblings. I'm very close to my 2 brothers, my 2 younger brothers, and equally to my sisters as well. I have 2 older sisters and 2 younger brothers. And my 2 older sisters, they're to me like my mothers, but a more chill version. And so,
definitely.
Yeah, so when I was like going into the trading field, for example, my parents didn't really understand it.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they were pushing me to go into my career.
Yeah.
So I done my university and they were like, what, like you went to university for 4 years, why are you not going for a job? Whereas there's something that happened. I remember after going to uni and learning trading first 2 years, not making anything, where I thought, okay, maybe I should apply for a job. Okay. Then I went through a period of time where I started to apply for jobs, interviews, but it was not working for me. Like I passed an interview, for example, and then for certain reason I couldn't take that job. And then, I was like a bit disheartened. Then I was like, apply for something else. And then, but it was never truly what I wanted. And then like the only person I could speak to was my sister. My siblings, but I remember specifically my older sister, and she said to me, look, maybe what you're doing, just stick with it. Maybe that is what you're meant to be doing. Maybe this is not your path. Okay, and this is why you're not getting, and this is the reason why you're not getting any progress. Or maybe like I do believe in God, so maybe like
it's taking those things out of your path.
Yeah, so maybe he like doesn't want me to go this route, or like there's something better waiting for me. And pursue that way. And honestly, like she kind of then explained to my parents that let him do what
give
he
it
wants
a try.
like let him do his thing, give him a few years, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, he can still go back and do whatever he wants.
That's it.
So that was definitely one thing I do remember, that my sister, she was like, stick with it, give it your 100%.
Do you think was that a pivotal moment to making the plan? Making a vision, 5 years, 3 years, etc.
I definitely, I would say, like, it was at that moment I was like, you know what, maybe this, like,
I need that.
I just need that one plan. I don't need a backup plan.
Yeah.
So if I just go 100% into this, if I put in my 100%, I can't really fail. Like, you know, like, if you put
you know yourself,
yeah,
you know what
like
you can do.
if I put like, and it's not just with me, if it's with anything, okay, you could tackle any problem, anything, okay, and if you really put in your 100% effort, and you really, you know, there's no really like plan B now. Like, if you're really determined to become, for example, like there's certain athletes, okay, like for example Conor McGregor, Cristiano Ronaldo, even McGregor when he was 16. Watch some of his interviews, and for him he's like the exact same thing. Like for him, kickbox, like MMA, he was like, this is my everything. I'm gonna give it my 110%, and there's no other route. That's it. No plan B.
It's that self-belief, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that determination.
But it has to come with action as well. Like you have to put in the work as well.
Yeah, it's all worthless without
You
it.
cannot just say, this is not my plan A, but do not put in the work in that is required for that plan. Like you have to put in the action.
100%, bro. And that's the thing. Like, if we didn't put in that action in our own separate journeys, we wouldn't be able to sit on this table today.
100%.
You know?
Share our journeys and where we've gone. And then again, like now where we want to be in the next 3 to 5 years is
be a bigger table. A bigger table with more people.
Why not?
No point. No, a wife and kid for you, hopefully, as well.
God willing.
That's it, brother. But again, bro, amazing episode. Thank you for coming down.
Always a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you for having me. Always nice speaking to you.
Oh, definitely. And can't wait for our networking after, bro. But thank you, everyone, for watching and for tuning in and showing support every single time. And I'm sure, no doubt, you've left your comments below. But we'll catch you on the next one.